My name is Susan Marie Callahan, 68 years old, widow of Fire Captain Patrick Callahan, rest in peace, Patty. And until 3 months ago I still believed my only son Connor was the same little boy who used to fall asleep on my chest after his father's night shifts. Connor got engaged last Christmas to a girl named Brooke Ashford, influencer, 110K on Instagram, teeth so white they looked radioactive. I liked her at first. She called me Mama Sue within the first week and cried when I gave her Patty's mother's pearl earrings. I told myself the tears were real. The wedding was supposed to be the event of the season. Brooke wanted a destination wedding in Goa, India, intimate, only 60 people, very spiritual. She showed me mood boards, elephants, marigolds, silk saris, a palace on the beach. The budget she sent me was $185,000. I laughed until I saw she wasn't joking. I am not rich. I have Patty's pension, the house in Naperville we paid off in 2009 and a 401k that was meant to last me until I'm 90. But Connor is my only child. I wanted him to have the day he dreamed of, so I did what any Irish Catholic mother from Chicago would do. I sold the only thing of real value I had left, my mother's jewelry collection. 15 tolas of 22-carat gold, bangles, necklaces, the heavy Mangalsutra my grandmother wore when she came through Ellis Island. My cousin Raj in New Jersey melted it all down and sent me a check for $132,000 after his commission. I kept $12,000 for myself and wired the remaining $120,000 to Brooke's wedding planner. A woman named Priya Malhotra who spoke with Brooke ran an LLC called Barefoot Lux Weddings. Brooke hugged me so hard when the transfer went through that I thought she'd cracked a rib. Mama Sue, you're literally making our dreams come true. 2 weeks before the wedding, Brooke called me on FaceTime. She was getting a facial, green goo all over her perfect face. Mama Sue, we have to make a hard call, she said, voice syrupy. The venue has a strict guest cap now because of new COVID rules in India. Only 20 people total. Immediate family and bridal party. I'm so sorry, but we can't fly you out. We'll livestream everything, I promise. I remember the room going quiet, except for the hum of my refrigerator. Brooke, I said slowly, I just paid for the entire wedding. I know, and we are so grateful, but it's literally out of our hands. The Maharaja doesn't want a big American crowd. It would ruin the vibe. Connor got on the phone next. I could see the ocean behind him. He was already in Goa for pre-wedding content shoots. Mom, please don't make this harder than it has to be. We'll do a big party when we're back in Chicago, I swear. I asked if Patty's sister Aunt Teresa could come. No, my brother Ray. No, my best friend Donna who's been with me since kindergarten. Definitely not. Just trust us, Mom. This is about starting our marriage with positive energy. That night I sat in my kitchen and opened a bottle of Jameson I'd been saving for Connor's first child. I drank until the edges went soft and the pain felt like someone else. Then I booked a ticket to Goa. One way, $1,947 on United. I used the last of the keep for myself money. I also called Priya Malhotra directly. Priya, I said, this is Susan Callahan, mother of the groom. I have a small request. I want to surprise Brooke with the most beautiful bridal makeup she has ever had. Money is no object. I already paid you $120,000. I'm sure you can spare your top artist for one extra day. Priya hesitated only a second. Of course, Mrs. Callahan. We have our celebrity artist flown in from Mumbai, Anushka Rao. She charges $18,000 for a bridal look, but for you we will do special price. $15,000 cash on the day of the wedding. Done, I said, but Anushka works only on Brooke, no one else, and she does the full royal package, gold leaf, diamonds in the hair part, the works. I will pay in cash when I arrive. Priya laughed with delight. Mrs. Callahan, you are the best mother-in-law in the world. I hung up, opened my safe, and took out the last thing of value I owned. A diamond tennis bracelet Patty gave me for our 25th anniversary, 4.8 carats. I walked to the jeweler on Ogden Avenue the next morning and sold it for $22,000 cash. I put the money in a yellow envelope marked Brooke's Bridal Glow Up. Then I packed one suitcase and flew to India. I landed in Goa on the morning of the wedding. The humidity like a wet towel, but the air smelled of salt and marigolds. I checked into a small guest house 5 minutes from the palace venue, showered, and changed into the only nice thing I still owned. A navy silk sari my mother-in-law had brought back from Kerala in 1982. It still fit. At 3 p.m. I walked to the palace gates carrying a large white box tied with gold ribbon. The security guard, a Sikh man with kind eyes, asked my name. Susan Callahan, I said. Mother of the groom, I'm here for my son's wedding. He checked the list twice. My name wasn't on it, of course it was. I smiled the smile I used on arson investigators when they tried to tell me my husband's death was routine. Young man, I paid for every flower you see on this property. I suggest you call Priya Malhotra right now. He did. 30 seconds later Priya came running out in a panic, phone pressed to her ear. Mrs. Callahan, you came. Oh my God, we thought, never mind, come. She ushered me past the gates like I was the Queen of England. Inside, the palace lawn was exactly like the mood board, white drapes, elephants with gold anklets, a mandap covered in roses. Guests in pastel linens drank champagne. I recognized Brooke's parents, her 2 sisters, her influencer friends. Not one face from Connor's side except Connor himself, standing under a tree getting photos taken. He saw me and went pale. Moms, what the hell's? Language, Connor, I said calmly. It's your wedding day. Brooke appeared in a bathrobe, hair in rollers, flanked by 3 makeup assistants. When she saw me, her mouth actually fell open. Mama Sue, you flew all the way here. I did, I said, lifting the white box, and I brought you something. Her eyes flicked to the box, greed, then suspicion, then greed again. Priya clapped her hands. Perfect timing, Anushka is ready in the bridal suite. Mrs. Callahan has booked the Royal Mughal package exclusively for Brooke. $15,000 cash paid today. Brooke's mother gasped, $15,000 for makeup. Brooke recovered fast. Oh my gosh, Mama Sue, you shouldn't have, but since you're here, yes please, I want to look perfect for my husband. She air-kissed me and practically dragged me to the bridal suite. A huge room with mirrors, AC on full blast, and a massage table covered in rose petals. Anushka Rao was waiting, tiny woman, severe bob, arms covered in tattoos. She took one look at Brooke and started speaking rapid Hindi to her assistants. Then she turned to me. Mrs. Callahan, thank you for this honor. We will make her look like a queen. I handed her the yellow envelope. She counted the cash right there, nodded, and tucked it into her bra like it was the most natural thing in the world. Brooke sat in the makeup chair giggling. I can't believe you did this, you're literally the best. I stood behind her, hands on her shoulders, meeting her eyes in the mirror. Only the best for my daughter-in-law, I said. Anushka started with primer, then foundation 3 shades lighter than Brooke's actual skin tone, the classic Instagram brightening look. Then white eyeliner on the waterline, heavy contour, lashes so long they cast shadows. Brooke kept snapping selfies. When Anushka brought out the 24-carat gold leaf, Brooke squealed. They pressed sheets of real gold onto her cheekbones, her collarbones, the part in her hair. Then came the diamonds, tiny Swarovski crystals glued one by one along her hairline and around her eyes. The final touch was a bindi made of a single 1-carat diamond. It took 4.5 hours. When Anushka spun the chair around, Brooke looked like a living filter, unreal, glowing, expensive. She threw her arms around me. Mama Sue, I love you so much. I hugged her back, careful not to smudge anything. I love you too, sweetheart, now let's get you married. We walked out to the lawn together, the guests applauded when they saw her. Phones came out, Connor's mouth actually dropped. The ceremony was quick, a Hindu efficient because Brooke thought it was spiritual, even though neither of them is Hindu. They circled the fire 7 times, Connor in a cream sherwani, Brooke in a red and gold lehenga that had cost me $28,000. I stood 10 feet away, the only white woman in a sari, tears in my eyes that were not from joy. After the vows, the photographer shouted, family photos. Brooke's parents rushed forward, her sisters, her best friends. I stayed where I was. Brooke glanced at me, hesitated, then turned back to the camera with that megawatt smile. The photographer never once called me over. Dinner was served, lobster, truffle risotto, gold-dusted desserts. I sat at a table in the back with the drivers and the extra photographers. No one spoke to me except to ask if I wanted more champagne. I drank 3 glasses. At 10 p.m. the DJ announced the bride and groom's first dance. Connor and Brooke swayed under fairy lights while Ed Sheeran played. Everyone filmed on their phones. That's when I stood up. I walked straight to the DJ booth, tapped the man on the shoulder and slipped him $200. Play something traditional, I said, something the groom's mother would like. He grinned and put on Danny Boy. Half the crowd looked confused. Connor's face went red. I stepped into the center of the dance floor, right in front of the newlyweds, and started singing. Loud, off-key, the song my father sang to me, the song we played at Patty's funeral. The music stopped, every phone turned to me. Brooke hissed, "Mama Sue, what are you doing?" I kept singing. When I reached the line, "But come ye back when summer in the meadow," I pulled the microphone from the DJ and spoke. "I just want to say a few words about my son and his beautiful bride. You could hear the ocean. I flew 20 hours to be here today. I sold my mother's wedding gold to pay for this wedding. I paid for the flowers, the elephants, the gold leaf on my daughter-in-law's face, the diamond in her bindi. I paid for every drop of champagne you're drinking." A murmur rippled through the guests. And I wasn't even invited. Brooke's father started forward. Security, my old friend from the gate, suddenly appeared at my side, arms crossed. I smiled at Brooke, "But I'm here now and I brought a gift." I reached into my purse and took out a single sheet of paper, the receipt from the jeweler showing the sale of my diamond bracelet. I held it up. "This is what $22,000 looks like when it's turned into cash, so the bride could have the Royal Mughal package." Brooke went pale under the gold leaves. Connor grabbed my arm. "Mom, stop, you're embarrassing us." I looked at my son, really looked at him for the first time in years. "No, Connor," I said softly. "You embarrassed me the day you let your wife tell me I was vibe enough to come to your wedding." I turned to the crowd. "Enjoy the rest of the party. The open bar is paid for until midnight. After that, the newlyweds are on their own." I dropped the mic literally and walked off the dance floor. Behind me I heard Brooke screaming at Priya, at Connor, at her parents. I heard Connor say, "Mom, wait," but I didn't turn around. At the gate I paid the Sikh guard another $100 and asked him to call me an Uber to the airport. As I waited under the stars, Anushka Rao came running out, still in her makeup cape. "Mrs. Callahan," she panted, "that was the most badass thing I have ever seen. Here," she pressed the yellow envelope back into my hands. "I didn't earn this today, you did." I tried to give it back, she refused. On the plane home I opened the envelope. Inside was the $15,000 and a small velvet pouch. I opened it. My diamond tennis bracelet, cleaned and sparkling. Anushka had bought it back from the jeweler with her own money. There was a note. "For the woman who taught a bride what real gold looks like." I cried then, quietly so the man in 17B wouldn't notice. 6 weeks later I got a text from Connor. "Mom, we need to talk. Things are really tight. The honeymoon was charged to your card by mistake, and the venue is threatening to sue because some vendors didn't get final payment." I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed, "Sorry, sweetheart, I only help family who invite me to their wedding." I blocked the number, poured myself a Jameson, and booked a cruise to Alaska with Donna. The gold sari is back in my closet, the bracelet is back on my wrist. And for the first time in years, when I look in the mirror, I recognize the woman staring back. She's not a wallet. She's a mother who finally learned the price of her own worth and paid it forward in full.